Chris had always been a romantic at heart. Grown up in a small town, he dreamed of finding true love and building a life filled with happiness. When he met Bella at a local charity event, he felt an instant connection. She was captivating, her laughter was infectious, and her spirit seemed to light up the room. At just 23, Bella was young, beautiful, and ambitious. Chris was drawn to her like a moth to a flame. Their romance blossomed quickly. Chris swept Bella off her feet with grand gestures, surprise dates, weekend getaways, and heartfelt gifts. It wasn't long before he proposed, presenting her with a dazzling ring that sparkled as brightly as his hopes for their future together. Their wedding was a fairy tale come to life, filled with friends, family, and promises of forever. After their honeymoon in the Maldives, a trip that felt like a dream, Chris returned home with renewed determination to make Bella happy. He wanted to give her everything she ever desired. With his savings and a small loan, he opened a boutique for her in the heart of the city. He envisioned it as a place where Bella could express her creativity and passion for fashion. The shop quickly became a success. Bella poured her heart into it, curating collections that reflected her unique style. She had an innate ability to connect with customers, making them feel special and valued. As the holiday season approached, the boutique transformed into a winter wonderland, adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations. Chris watched with pride as Bella thrived in her new role. Yet beneath this surface of happiness lay unspoken tension. Chris had noticed subtle changes in Bella's behavior, late nights at the shop, secretive phone calls, but he attributed them to the pressures of running a new business. He trusted her completely. After all, they were building their life together. As Christmas drew near, Chris eagerly anticipated the return of his old friends Ben and Austin from abroad. They had spent years living in Dubai and Cyprus, experiencing life in ways Chris could only imagine. Their stories were filled with adventure and excitement. Everything from skydiving over the Palm Jumeirah to attending lavish parties hosted by wealthy expatriates. When Ben and Austin arrived back home, Chris felt an overwhelming sense of nostalgia. They spent evenings reminiscing about their youth over drinks at their favorite pub. The laughter flowed freely as they shared stories from their pasts, some hilarious, others bittersweet. One night, after several rounds of drinks, Ben leaned closer to Chris with an expression that shifted from joviality to seriousness. "You know," he began cautiously, "I saw your wife in Dubai last year." Chris chuckled initially, thinking it was just another one of Ben's wild stories. "Bella? In Dubai? What are you talking about?" Ben exchanged glances with Austin before continuing. "No joke, she was well known there." Chris's laughter faded as confusion washed over him. "What do you mean?" Austin chimed in. "We heard stories about her. She's been involved in some pretty unsavory stuff over there." As Ben and Austin recounted tales of Bella's past life, stories of her working as an escort in high-end hotels and clubs across Dubai and Cyprus, Chris felt his heart race with disbelief. He tried to dismiss their claims as drunken exaggerations until Ben pulled out his phone and showed him photos from social media, pictures of Bella at lavish parties with men who were clearly not him. "Chris," Ben said earnestly, "we called some contacts back there to confirm what we heard. It's true." The world around Chris began to blur as shock washed over him. He felt like he was drowning in disbelief. His heart raced as he struggled to comprehend the reality crashing down on him. Later that night, when Chris confronted Bella about what he had learned, His voice trembled with hurt and confusion. "Is it true, what they said about you?" Bella's face paled at his accusation. "What are you talking about?" she replied defensively. "Don't lie to me. I know everything. You were a prostitute in Dubai." His voice cracked as tears filled his eyes. Bella's initial shock turned into anger as she denied everything vehemently. "I only went there for work. I never did any of those things. You have no idea what you're talking about." But Chris had evidence, photos, messages from Ben's contacts confirming her past life. As he presented them to her, he watched her facade crumble. Her defiance turned into desperation as she began to cry uncontrollably. "Please," she pleaded through her tears. "I did what I had to do to survive. It was before you. I thought I could leave that life behind." Chris felt his heart shatter into pieces. The woman he loved had been living a double life while he believed they were building a future together. In his anguish, Chris made a decision that would alter both their lives forever. He returned to the boutique, their dream, and set fire to it, in an act of rage and heartbreak. Flames consumed the shop that had once symbolized hope and love. Now it represented betrayal. He took their baby daughter away from Bella's reach, feeling that he could no longer trust her as a mother or partner. "I can't do this anymore," he said coldly as he walked out with their child. Bella's cries echoed behind him as he stepped into the night. A night filled with uncertainty, but also clarity about what needed to be done. In the days following their confrontation, Chris found himself navigating uncharted territory, a world without Bella by his side, but filled with memories that haunted him at every turn. The joy they once shared felt tainted by betrayal. Every corner of their home reminded him of the love they had built together. He moved into his parents' house temporarily while trying to figure out how to raise their daughter alone. The transition was challenging. Sleepless nights were filled with worry about how this would affect his child's future. His friends rallied around him during this tumultuous time, offering support but also urging him not to let anger cloud his judgment regarding Bella's role as a mother. They reminded him that while her past was troubling, she still loved their daughter deeply. As Christmas approached again, a time that once brought joy now felt heavy with sorrow. Chris found himself reflecting on everything that had transpired. He sought answers not only for himself, but for his daughter too. Would she ever know who her mother truly was? Would she grow up resenting him for keeping them apart? One evening, while scrolling through social media in search of distractions from his thoughts, Chris stumbled upon posts from people who knew Bella during her time abroad, friends who shared memories that painted an entirely different picture than the one he had come to accept. Curiosity piqued, he reached out cautiously to some of these contacts online under pseudonyms for privacy reasons, to learn more about Bella's past without revealing too much about himself or his situation. What unfolded shocked him further. Stories emerged not just about Bella's involvement in escorting, but also hints at coercion and manipulation by others who took advantage of vulnerable women seeking better lives abroad. As Chris dug deeper into these revelations over several weeks leading up to Christmas Day itself, the more complex Bella's story became, a tale woven not just from choices made, but also circumstances beyond control. He began questioning everything. Was it fair for him to judge Bella solely based on what others said? Did love truly conquer all if it meant accepting someone's past? On Christmas Eve, Chris sat alone in his parents' living room, surrounded by holiday decorations that felt hollow without Bella's presence. their daughter asleep peacefully nearby in her crib, a small angel unaware of the turmoil surrounding her existence. As carols played softly in the background, a bittersweet reminder of happier times, he realized that, despite everything that had happened between them, the love they once shared still lingered within him, like an ember, refusing to die out completely. With newfound determination coursing through him, he decided it was time for one last conversation with Bella before making any final decisions regarding their future, together or apart, arranging for them both to meet at a neutral location, a cafe where they used to frequent during happier times. Chris felt anxious, yet hopeful about what this encounter might bring forth. When Bella arrived, her eyes red from crying, yet still holding on to traces of beauty despite all that had transpired, they exchanged awkward greetings before sitting down across from each other at a small table adorned with holiday cheer. "Thank you for meeting me," Chris began tentatively, after several moments filled only by silence between them, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavily in the air around them both, like fog enveloping everything else outside their bubble, momentarily lost amid chaos beyond comprehension. "I didn't think you'd want to see me again," she replied softly, but there was something different about how she spoke now, a hint of vulnerability layered beneath layers built up over time, shielding herself away from hurtful truths, lingering far too long without resolution, waiting patiently just outside reach, until now, finally brought forward into light once more. "I've been thinking," Chris continued slowly, gathering courage, while searching deep within himself for answers needed most urgently right now, if ever hope remained intact anywhere along this journey ahead. "I want us both to be honest with each other about everything." Bella nodded slowly, tears beginning anew spilling forth, unbidden down cheeks flushed bright red, contrasting against pale skin beneath dim lighting, illuminating faces caught between shadows cast long ago by choices made without foresight, leading here today where paths converged once more after so long apart. "I'm sorry," she whispered, finally breaking down, completely unable any longer hold back emotions pent up inside, feeling raw, exposed, vulnerable, laid bare before him, stripped away all pretense, left standing only truth remaining amidst wreckage left behind. I didn't want you ever find out like this. I thought I could leave it all behind, but I didn't realize how much my past would haunt me." As they talked late into the evening, sharing stories both painful yet healing, it became clear there would be no easy answers nor quick fixes available anytime soon. But perhaps understanding existed somewhere beneath surface-level hurt feelings, lingering, still unresolved, needing time, patience, healing, broken hearts slowly mending together again, if given chance. By dawn breaking over horizon, illuminating new possibilities waiting ahead, their conversation shifted toward rebuilding trust, moving forward cautiously step by step, learning navigate complexities, intertwined lives forever altered, yet still somehow connected. Through love once shared, despite darkness threatening pull apart. And so began journey anew, filled uncertainty, yet hope flickering faintly within hearts yearning, find way back home together again. Someday soon, perhaps.